Hello, welcome to Miniature Realms. My name's Stuart. I always love new hobby products, especially when they're designed to make things a little bit easier, speed up processes. And I've been sent some Muddy Paw basing terrain texture to have a little play around with. So let's have a little look and see what it's all about.
Miniature Realms is proudly sponsored by Counter-Attack Bases. They stock a wide range of counters, gaming aids and movement trays for multiple game systems and offer custom items to suit your club or even your podcast or YouTube channel. Check out the link in the video description.
So this is the Etsy store for the Polysand basing grip by Muddy Paw Terrain, and it's coming from the United States at the moment, so do bear that in mind with shipping costs and things like that if you are outside the United States like I am. And these are the colours that are available. You just really all sort of basic explainer about how it's used, and it's very, very simple but quite interesting, I think, and quite unusual. So these are the 6 pots that I've been very kindly sent to have a look at, and I was approached and offered them, and I don't have to do anything with them, but I like them enough I thought I'd make it into a proper video. And you've got pearl, tan, grey, fieldstone, platinum and black. They're screw top, and then you get your sand inside. They're quite weighty, there's a lot in there. The pots are a decent size, and I imagine they will go quite a long way, having played around with them. It's pretty straightforward. The picture of the doggy on the top is fun, and I think that works with the basic name, I suppose. But what's the most interesting thing really is the quality of what's inside, and you can see that the colours that are available there are actually quite versatile. There's nothing very, very brown, I'd say, but both the fieldstone and the grey have got brownish tones in them, and the really light colour, the platinum, can work as snow as well. I've got some water here and some PVA glue and some bases to sort of play around with. The idea is you can put a bit of water down or a bit of PVA, and you just sprinkle the sand on top, and that just holds it in place enough. And then you can add a little bit more water afterwards to fix it on. Now for this first test, I'm just scraping it with my knife. The idea you can mould it and things. I haven't got an awful lot on there to do it, but it all seems to work. You can definitely move it and play around, and that's when you drop your little water. Now the idea is you're supposed to spray it on or use a pipette. I don't have that. I have a little dropper bottle here, so I've got a bit too much water on, but it all dries off. And also trying the other method, which you just sort of stick it down as you would normally with sand on a little bit of PVA glue, and it's easier to get a smoother, even coat here, but you still finish it off in the same way and set it with some water. And my assumption, I don't know the full ingredients, my assumption is that the sand has got some kind of aggregate mix in it, whether that's like a tile grout base or a concrete base or something, I don't know, but something DIY-ish in there that means when you add the water it sets it and makes it go hard, this is what's interesting about it. This is what's unique compared to adding sand normally. So after my initial play around, I decided to just do a neater version of each of the colours at the end of the other bases, and then one full strip of them going along. And because I found it a little bit easier with a thin line, or a thin layer rather, of PVA glue, that's what I've gone with for the main test. So a different colour at each end of the base, leaving it blank in the middle. Sprinkle it on, tap the excess off, and then I'm just adding those drops of water as instructed, which sets it in place. It does say then you need to leave it to dry afterwards, from an hour up to 24 hours. I left it for about half an hour in the garden, and they were absolutely hard to the touch, apart from one, and I'll show you in a moment, which was a really, really thick layer. But it's pretty hot in the UK at the moment, at least when I was doing this video anyway. And I'm putting far too much water on there as well. You're supposed to be spraying a little mist on, and I didn't have a sprayer at hand. But again, really, really straightforward and really, really simple. Even with a lot of water going on, because the glue was down first, it wasn't washing it away, so I wasn't really having any issues. And it's pretty easy to sprinkle on and do this. This is nothing unusual to wargamers who have been gluing sand to bases for years. So I don't think it's going to give anyone any stresses of how to use this stuff at all. But it's all really straightforward and all really, really easy. I also found after sprinkling some water on, it's really easy to go back and just sprinkle a little bit more sand on and increase the thickness of the layers. It's very, very easy to do, and I guess you could do that even without using any of the PVA, and it'll definitely dry quicker because the water's going to evaporate faster than the PVA is. But you can see me here going back and sprinkling more on, and you can add a bit more water and you can play around with it. You can draw sort of like track marks or something, and it maybe put the feet of a model, or even some tank tracks if you're doing World War II armor or something like that. So you can definitely play around with it a little bit, and I like that. I really like that. I can imagine using this on a lot of smaller scale miniature games like Epic or something like that, where you want to put a little bit of water on the base with a paintbrush and not get PVA on the miniatures, and then sprinkle this stuff on, and then a few little drops afterwards, and it will set it really hard in place. Without you getting glue all over your miniatures, you're just getting water on there. So I think that's pretty good, and it's super easy. Now it's messy in the sense that you're sprinkling sand everywhere, but aside from that, if you avoid the PVA, it's a little bit easier. So this is after the sort of the half an hour, and it's dried rock hard on all of them, apart from the one I added a couple of extra layers, which is a little bit softer. But these are, you could paint over these now if you wanted to. I'm not sure you're going to do that. I think you're going to go for the colour on some of them, especially on the black. I think it's really good. It's a real kind of just saturated sort of charcoaly black, and the grey and the fieldstone are kind of almost muddy. I really like those colours, and I'd probably want to use them as is. But very, very good on all scales of miniatures. I imagine on 40k bases or on Trench Crusade bases or something like that. Really gritty and quite dirty. They don't just look like sand. The lighter colour ones do look a little bit like sand, but I'm really impressed with the darker colours and the pearl. It's very, very, very shiny. I'm impressed. There's definitely enough variation in the grit texture to make it look like you've not just put sand on a base and not painted it, especially with the darker coloured ones. Those ones really interest me. So that kind of volcanic look for a certain base or something like that. And you can see it in these stills a little bit easier. They all look pretty good. So that mixture of whatever is in it, the aggregate, that gives it that dusty feel in between the grains of sand and things. I think they look really good, and I love sort of one hit wonders when it comes to basing. You add a few tufts and things like that on top now. Very, very cool. I like them. I really do. I think it's a really cool, interesting idea. And I think there's some uses with dioramas and terrain and things as well that go beyond the basing side of things. Thank you very much for watching this very short review video, and thank you very much, Taylor, for sending me your product. And it's genuinely really very good, and I hope anyone who's watched this video that's interested, give it a try, give it a go. I really like it, and I definitely will continue to use it. Whether I use it on all my armies bases, I don't know. I do a lot of projects and I need consistency in my products, so the biggest barrier to me being in the UK and this stuff coming from the States is whether I'll be able to order it and get it quick enough. But it definitely arrived quick from when he sent it. So it's that case of consistency of things. So far, so good. I'll definitely be using this stuff on terrain, on display boards and things. The ability to sprinkle some of this to create roads and paths and things is brilliant, and it makes it so much easier and less messy than having to put down loads of glue and things all the time. I did use glue on the basing, and I did find that the best way to put that first layer down, but you could definitely sprinkle more afterwards and then put the water on and sprinkle more, and it goes really, really hard and solid, so you get that less mess at the end. And I really like that. It means you can get a subtle tapering, I think, on a grass mat from the centre of a path out towards the edge. And that's just a couple of ideas that are coming off the top of my head. So I think this is good. I think this is really unusual, and hope that it takes off and becomes really popular. It's very, very cool, and it's nice to be able to share some new products from smaller companies out there. Not every video I do is going to be showing off Games Workshop's latest thing that they've sent me for Warhammer the Old World. Sometimes it will be other things as well. And yes, these videos maybe aren't watched by quite as many of you subscribers, but those of you who are still watching now, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And go and check out the stuff, even if you don't buy it, and maybe it'll be something you can suggest to someone else at some point. If you've enjoyed the video, all the usual stuff, drop a comment below, let me know what you think. Give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Check all the links out in the video subscription, including my Patreon and the channel sponsor, Counter Attack Bases. But thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you soon.